Let's dive right into this explainer and crack open our virtual playbook. Today, we're breaking down the fascinating world of team sports, pulling directly from our educational source material to understand exactly how these games work from the ground up, chapter by chapter. So whether you're an athlete yourself or just someone who wants to know the nuts and bolts behind the games we all love to watch, you are absolutely in the right place.
Today's playbook covers what are team games, basketball history and court, basketball rules and skills, cricket rules and dismissals, and we'll wrap up with other sports and assessments.
All right, part one. What are team games? The foundations of teamwork.
Before we jump into specific sports, we really need to define what we're talking about. The absolutely crucial word here is organized. A team game isn't just about moving around and breaking a sweat. It's a highly orchestrated effort where a group of individuals actively work together, aiming at a shared, unified goal, which is, of course, to become the winners. It demands a total collective mindset.
Now, you might think, well, the objective is just to score points, right? Actually, scoring points is just the tip of the iceberg. Based on our source text, players must also master making collective decisions in a split second, communicating nonstop, and managing conflicting situations under serious pressure. It's basically high-speed problem-solving in a supportive, trusting atmosphere. And honestly, that trust is what really builds a winning team.
Moving right along to Section 2, Basketball History and Court, from Naismith to National Tournaments.
Think about the sheer free-flowing, dynamic nature of basketball. Unlike some games that have super rigid, static positions, the rules of basketball allow all players to move freely across the entire court. It's a game where every single person on that team has an equal opportunity to drive to the basket, shoot, and score.
But how did it get that way? Well, it all started as a simple invention back at Springfield College in Massachusetts by Dr. James Naismith in 1891. By 1894, the first 13 rules were fixed, and amazingly, those original rules still form the basis of the modern game. Then, looking at its expansion into India, the YMCA in Madras played a massive role in the 1920s. That momentum led to the first national tournament in Delhi in 1934, and eventually the creation of the Basketball Federation of India in 1950. It's just an incredible trajectory for a game that started entirely from scratch.
Of course, to play, you need the right space. The standard court gives you an area of 28 by 15 meters to work with. It's divided right down the middle into two half courts by a midcourt line. And right there, dead center in the middle circle is where the action always kicks off with a jump ball. The referee tosses the ball up and two opposing players jump to tap it, fighting for that crucial first possession.
Let's get into the mechanics. Section 3, Basketball Rules and Skills, Strategy and Scoring.
Okay, so a match is strictly split into 4 10-minute quarters, with a quick 2-minute breather between them and a longer 15-minute rest at halftime where the teams swap sides. But here is the catch. The clock completely stops whenever the play is not active. So, because of fouls, timeouts, and out-of-bounds plays, the actual real-world game takes significantly longer to play than just those 40 allotted minutes.
Let's dig into the core rules. You've got a 12-member roster, but only 5 players from your team can be out there sweating it out on the court at any given time. The strategy really heats up with substitutions, because they are unlimited. You can swap players as much as you want, but only when play is stopped. Then there's the scoring. You get 2 points for a regular basket. But if you have the range to sink a shot from outside that 6.25-meter line, bam, you get 3 points. That one rule completely dictates how both the offense and defense operate. Speaking of defense, when the other team has the ball, you usually rely on something called man-to-man defense. Instead of just guarding an open zone on the floor, you get matched up directly against a specific offensive player, usually based on size and ability. It's a high-energy, totally in-your-face effort to disrupt their rhythm, force a turnover, and steal that ball back.
And if you absolutely master these skills in India, you might just be recognized with the prestigious Arjuna Award. Some truly incredible players have achieved this honor over the decades, starting with Sarjeet Singh way back in 1961, all the way up to Prashanti Singh in 2017. These athletes are the literal embodiment of the fundamentals we're talking about.
Switching gears now, Section 4, Cricket Rules and Dismissals, the pitch and the wicket.
Picture a cricket field. The absolute center of gravity is that rectangular pitch right in the middle of the grass. Everything revolves around this strip. This is where the striking batsman fights to hit the ball and score runs by sprinting to the opposite end, all while the bowler and the fielding team do everything in their power to get them out and shut down the scoreboard.
So, who's actually on the field?
Each team has 11 players out there, but there is also a highly specific reserve player known as the 12th man. Their role is fascinatingly restricted. They can only act as a substitute fielder. They are strictly forbidden from bowling, batting, or wicket-keeping. Overseeing it all are 2 on-field umpires, backed up by a 3rd umpire sitting off the field, ready to review slow-motion video replays for those impossibly close calls.
Now, getting a batsman out? There is a whole menu of options for the fielding team. You've got bowled, where the ball just directly crashes into the wickets. You can be caught if the ball touches the bat or glove and a fielder grabs it before it hits the ground. Then you have the highly technical stuff, like being stumped by the wicketkeeper or run out if you don't have part of your bat or body grounded behind the popping crease during play. You can even be retired out if you leave the field without the umpire's permission. The defensive strategy here is just wonderfully complex.
Finally, Section 5, Other Sports and Assessments. Test your knowledge.
We've covered a massive amount of ground today on basketball and cricket, so let's flip to the assessments section of our chapter and end this explainer with a quick interactive trivia challenge based on football, hockey, and volleyball. Let's see what you remember. Question number 1 pulls right from the football section. Do you know the official duration of a football match? And as a bonus thought, under what exact circumstances can that time be extended and why? If you think about how basketball completely stops the clock, football's continuous running clock is a really fascinating contrast. Next up, hockey. Now, what's really interesting about this question is how it highlights how different team sports manage rule breaking. The assessment asks, hockey uses a 3-tiered card system of warnings and suspensions. Do you know the colors of these 3 cards? It's a prime example of how officials enforce that trusting atmosphere and manage the conflict we talked about way back at the start of this explainer. Before we hit our final question, we have to shout out the Volleyball Arjun awardees listed in the source. This celebrates absolute legends of the sport, from Nipjit Singh in 1962 all the way to Tom Joseph in 2014, players who completely mastered the lightning-fast reflexes required for this incredibly aerial game.
Which brings us to our final question. When a volleyball rally continues, what is the maximum number of consecutive touches allowed for each team? I'll leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. How does that specific touch constraint force players to be the ultimate cooperative team? Think about it. If you can't just hold on to the ball and run with it yourself, you absolutely must rely on your partners. Keep that in mind the next time you watch any team game in action. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.